local news, Rule Warwick. In an article in The Guardian, published on the 22nd of May, the University of Warwick was ranked as one of the top-performing universities in the UK for students securing jobs while still studying. The newspaper was reporting on the findings of the High Flyers survey, which has found that record numbers of students were applying for jobs in their final year of university, with fewer taking a year out. Warwick undergraduates were amongst the most successful in securing a job.
Vacancies in the residential live team. Are you an enthusiastic, responsible individual who would like to be part of the residential live team, who live and work alongside the students within halls of residence, and are a key part of the university's welfare and support network? The Student Support Office is pleased to announce a number of opportunities within the resident live team for the academic year 2012 to 2013. All the vacancies are volunteer posts with accommodation provided within halls of residence. Applications are now invited for deputy wardens, sub-wardens and resident tutors. And the deadline for applications is Friday, the 8th of June this year.
And some peasant is attempting to make a vehicle of a bath. One man in his bathtub will take to the water this weekend to demonstrate the Warwick entrepreneurial spirit, break a world record and raise money for the British Red Cross. Third-year engineering student Luke Parry will begin his 200-mile paddle along the waterways between Birmingham and London this Sunday, which is the 3rd of June. Last year, Luke cycled from London to Istanbul for the New Zealand earthquake appeal, but his latest challenge will stretch him to the limit. You can follow Luke's progress on the Great Bathtub Adventure website, which is originally named www.bathtubadventure.com, which features a map of his progress and a blog written during the challenge. You can also donate online at www.justgiving.com/bathtubin to support the British Red Cross.
Next, Warwick students are amongst the most active in the country, with thousands taking part in running student societies, volunteering through Warwick Volunteers, taking an active role in their learning through the SSLC system and the recent institution review of teaching and learning. Some of the students, however, are truly exceptional. Not only do they find and they excel academically, but they manage to find time in the campaign for good causes, raise enormous amounts of money for charities, start small businesses and work with local charities.
And celebrations of us are going on up and down the country with women, men, children adorning their porches with bunting and filling their bellies with cucumber sandwiches, done to the point, and coronation chicken. It's the Diamond Jubilee. We do so hope you all got yourselves involved in the frivolity. We saw Jubilee celebrations in schools up and down the country, with kiddies even dressing up and partaking in tree planting ceremonies in honour of the Queen. Here we have the pupils of Queenswood Primary School performing a song.
Now, next on the royal agenda, national and international news. The BBC reports that President Barack Obama's re-election campaign has been hit by a poor new economic report that said American employees created just 69,000 jobs in May, the fewest in a year, and the unemployment rate rose for the first time in 11 months.
And a Chinese security ministry official has been arrested on suspicion of spying for the US and passing on state secrets, Hong Kong media reports say. Would never have happened in the days of empire. The man, who was private secretary to a vice minister in the security ministry, was arrested earlier this year, various press reports say. US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton declined to comment on the reports. If confirmed, it would be the third major incident to hit China-US relations in the past few months. It would also be the highest level spy case, involving China and the US to become public since 1985, when intelligence official Yu Guangsheng defected to the US. The official had been recruited by the CIA, local press, and Reuters report.
Facebook has suffered a series of service disruptions which left many people unable to use the social network. The problems meant that the site was unreachable for some people for almost 2 hours. Sporadic disruptions were reported by many people, and even those who could get through said pages were taking a long time to load. Facebook apologised but said it had fixed the problem.
What is Facebook? Sounds terribly painful. Moving on. The Vatican publishes details on how to deal with supernatural phenomena. They have been closely guarded for more than 30 years, or 30 years is probably best, but guidelines on how to deal with the divine apparitions of the Virgin Mary and supernatural phenomena have now been released by the Vatican. The norms on how the Roman Catholic Church should deal with mystical apparitions were initially drawn up in Latin in 1978 under Pope Paul VI and were intended for strictly internal use. They shed light on the sorts of apparitions which have inspired the establishment of shrines such as Lourdes in France and Fatima in Portugal, which attract millions of pilgrims a year, many in search of cures for illnesses or other miracles. The guidelines are intended to help bishops in their difficult task of discerning presumed apparitions, revelations, messages, or, more generally, extraordinary phenomena of presumed supernatural origin. Cardinal William Levada, the American prefect of the CDF, wrote in a preface,
Next, do not walk on the grass. Moscow Council discovers mysterious cannabis patch. Moscow authorities have been left red-faced after planting the wrong kind of grass outside a metro station, 700 cannabis plants. The Telegraph reported that officers from the FSKN, Russia's drug control service, were called in after receiving a tip-off about strange vegetation growing in newly laid soil in the Brafantio neighbourhood. Bratijevo.
That's fine.
The mysterious greenery had shut up in a park next to the metro station and had been spruced up and replanted by workers. Instead of the lawn grass, we found weed, an FSKN spokesman explained. The officers were obliged to take up the work of professional gardeners. They dug up 230 of the drug-containing plants. An investigation was launched into how cannabis seeds got into the earth, which was provided by a firm contracted to local government.
And former punk and 80s star Adam Ant supports Queen's Jubilee concert. And he's glad the stigma of being a royalist has gone. The 57-year-old singer, real name Stuart Goddard, said he was heavily criticised for appearing at the Royal Variety performance in 1981. He added, I got an awful lot of stick for doing it. It's a complete 360. I think Queen's quite hip. I think she quite likes rock and roll secretly. So I think it's quite a good thing.
And that is a lovely thing to say, and what a lovely accent.
Oh, it is.
Down with the monarchy!
Good job I had.
You represent an outdated institution that has no place in a modern society. You should be ousted.
Do you know whom you are speaking to, Northern fellow?
I do. And I call for your immediate removal. What do you think?